Hey, what's going on, Fan Clan? Welcome back to the channel. My name is Danny Phantom. I'm sorry to do this. I'm going to sell out real quick. Just a real quick sellout. Yesterday I posted a video going over a booster box of PdeE Evolved, a new restock booster box, opening up just to kind of see if pull rates look the same from the initial print run. And in that video, I'm giving away a Pikachu ukulele. This was exclusive to the World Championships, which just happened last month. So if you want to win this, make sure you're subscribed to the channel. One lucky subscriber will take this home. Go back, watch the video from yesterday. Just leave a like and a comment. Boom, you are entered. But the main reason that I wanted to sell out is because we are in the process of expanding our business. So we own an online LGS. Myself and my business partner Papa Blastoise. We own the cardcoliseum.com. We have a bunch of singles on there. We're constantly updating. I try my best to keep up with it as much as I possibly can. Sealed product, things like that. But we are expanding, and really just this week we opened up our brand new website. It is CarossioShop.com. So this is going to house all of our Japanese products. We have a bunch of leftover plush and fits and things like that. Sleeves, Japanese sleeves, deck boxes, playmats, a ton of stuff, and booster boxes. And that's all going to be housed on this website. So CarossioShop.com. We just opened this week. Definitely check it out. Let me know what you think. We just posted pre-orders for Super Electric Breaker. Obviously, the news just dropped this morning. We are getting a special art rare, an SAR of the Pikachu EX, as well as a special art rare SAR of Melodic EX. Both of them look really, really cool. And those are going to be part of our English set for Surging Sparks, but they will be part in a couple weeks. We will have the release of Super Electric Breaker. So boxes are available right now for pre-order for $49.99. Check out CarossioShop.com. Let me know what you think. That's it. That's all I really wanted to do as far as selling out goes. So now we can move into the actual video today. This hopefully gives you some good information. We're going to talk about Illustration Rare specifically today regarding the sets throughout Scarlet and Violet, at least the main series sets. So we've had plenty of sets in Scarlet and Violet so far. We've had 7 of them up through Stellar Crown. We've had additional half sets, right? Like we've had Scarlet and Violet 151. We had PdeE and Fates, and we recently had Shrouded Fable. Great illustration rares pretty much across the board, but those are the one area of rarity that has pretty much stayed consistent throughout the entirety of the Scarlet and Violet block. We talk about pull rates a lot in this channel, and the reason that I think pull rates are important is because it understands you the value. I love opening packs of Pokemon cards. I'm sure you guys do too, but it's not always a good idea, and in fact most of the times it's not a good idea. It's a lot of fun when a new set comes out to open up a little bit of product, enjoy the artwork, read the attacks, have a lot of fun with it, but then eventually if your goal is to catch them all and your goal is to expand your collection, then buying singles ultimately is going to be the best way to go, which is why I always recommend opening up a little bit of a new set, but then don't overdo it. We open up an entire master set of a new set so that way we can give it away to one lucky subscriber. That is not something that I advocate for. It costs a lot of money. It gets super expensive. I highly recommend not doing it because you can utilize that money to grow your collection in much better ways than just cracking open a ton of packs and going completely degen on it. Now, like I said, it is a lot of fun, so it's always good to kind of have data to back up the decisions that you make. So really what your goal is going to be is to bring your average pack price down as low as you possibly can, and we do that by looking at pull rates. We look at pull rates, we look at competitive cards, we look at those lower rarity cards that are really good in competitive play that might have a little bit of value associated with them, which you can turn around and recycle to help grow your collection, whether it be selling them off on a TCG player account, selling them off on an eBay account, or trading them in to your local game store, or trading them in at a league, trading them on Facebook or on Instagram or on Discord or some other place like those earthen vessels and other things that have a little bit of value to them. That really helps bring and mitigate that pack price, that average pack price. Obviously, a booster pack of Pokemon cards, if you go to the store, is going to cost you about $4, but bringing that down based off of what the likelihood is of pulling something of value in that booster pack is really important. So we look at pull rates, we study pull rates so that way we can best understand if we do want to open up booster packs, well, what is the best booster pack to open? And in today's video, we're going to talk specifically about illustration rares, and we're going to focus on the main series sets that have come out. So before we jump into things, I do want to ask you guys a question, and I want a guess down in the comment section down below. So we are looking at the average value of illustration rares per set when it comes to just the main series sets. So we're not including the half sets. We're not including 151, Shrouded Fable, or PdeE and Fates. Which of the 7 main series set releases throughout Scarlet and Violet do you think has the best average booster box potential when it comes to value for illustration rare? So that's the question right down below that I want to know an answer to. Let me know what you think. think. We're going to flip you guys around so you can see exactly what I'm talking about. And the way that I have it broken down is fairly simple. I've got all the illustration rares written. I've got values associated with each illustration rare that you can pull from a set. And the great thing about this is while pull rates have changed for a lot of those upper rarity categories like special illustration rares and like hyper rares, they have stayed very consistent for illustration rares, where every main series set that you open, if you open up a booster box, you should get 3 illustration rares that come out of it. Now, it has gone down a little bit. You might get like 2.85. There could be times where you open up a booster box of Stellar Crown, of Temporal Forces, and you only get 2. But I would say 95% of the time, 90% of the time, you're going to open up a booster box and you're going to get 3 illustration rares. So really what you want to know is what set has the best potential value on average for me to open to help bring that average pack price down, that price per pack down. So this is Scarlet and Violet right here. And as you can see, I've got a ranking system right up at the top right there. I already told you that there's only 7 main series sets. So you know what position Scarlet and Violet base comes in. Unfortunately, this is dead last right here. So if you look at the illustration rares across the board, there's really nothing worth note. Your most expensive one is the Ralts. Now that is a very cool line. The Ralts, the Curlia, the Gardevoir. We've seen what's happened in the past with the Tepig line all the way up to Emboar. We saw it happen with the Charizard line in Generations. Usually those storyline cards where you have a story that is basically depicted by the artwork. So Ralts starting out with a family, evolving into Curlia, which continues to grow with that family, and then evolving into the special illustration rare Gardevoir, which also continues to grow with the family, is very cool. It's going to be a cool gimmick for a long time, which is why the Ralts has risen quite a bit in value over the past several months. So Ralts sitting there at $16. You also have the Curlia and the Drowsy, both in double digits still at $11. But other than that, there's not a whole lot of value for most of the cards. You've got the Riolu at $8. You've got the Slowpoke at $8. Everything else is either $5 or less. So if you are looking to fill out your Scarlet and Violet Master Set when it comes to the illustration rares, really a lot of cheap cards, which is really good. Unfortunately, that brings your average value down quite a bit. So your average value when it comes to opening up illustration rares, you're only looking at about $4 per illustration rare. You get 3 per box. That means on average your booster box of Scarlet and Violet is only going to house about $12 worth of value when it comes to that illustration rare. So that's not really going to bring the pack price down very much, because you're only looking at about $12 in total. 1 out of 30 or 12 out of 36 is 1 out of 3. So you're only looking at about bringing that price down 33 cents or so, somewhere around there on average. So not great for Scarlet and Violet. Here's our second set right here, PdeE Evolved. And yes, this is currently ranked first, and this is also the set in Scarlet and Violet that has the most illustration rares out of all of them. Now this is impacted quite a bit by that Magikarp right there, selling for about $106. That brings up that average value significantly, but you do have a lot of cards in here that are worth double digits. You've got the Tyranitar sitting there at $33. You've got the Raichu sitting there at $34. That helps increase the value quite a bit, but you also have some midline illustration rares as well. Heracross selling for $11. Sprigatito's got a $12 value. Fuecoco's got a $12 value associated with it. Sudowoodo's at $11. Maushold is at $11. And then you've got a couple other ones that are at $7, $8, $9, like Baxcalibur sitting there at $9, Marill sitting there at $9, and these have gone up and down quite a bit over the past several months. Now they could go down a little bit more now that we did get a little bit of a restock of PdeE Evolved. As more and more PdeE Evolved gets open, obviously more supply is going to hit in the single market, and that could bring things down a little bit more. But there are so many illustration rares in this set that really helps the average value quite a bit. And if you take the average value of all the illustration rares from PdeE Evolved, you're looking at about $10.31 per card. You get 3 of them in your booster box. That means on average, you should pull about $31 worth of value from your PdeE Evolved booster box, $30.93. Now, it could work completely opposite for you. You could pull a Rabsco, which is only selling for about $3. You could pull a Nocli, which is only selling for about $3. And you could pull a Dunsparce, which is only selling for $4. Obviously, your value in that booster box would only be about $10. But you pull 1 Raichu, 1 Tyranitar, or obviously 1 Magikarp, and your average value is going to go way up, which is why we look at it from an average value sake. $30.93 is very, very strong. That helps bring that average pack price down quite a bit, which is why PdeE Evolved is first as far as illustration rares go for your average value. Next, we're going to look at Obsidian Flames. Right now, this is second last. This is the second worst to open, even with some of these illustration rares gaining quite a bit of steam. So you've got the Cleffa, which has jumped up to $10. The Pidgey has increased quite a bit in price as well. That one's up to $9. and the Ninetales currently selling for $12. But if you look at the other values, this is really the first set that we're looking at that has dollar values for some of these illustration rares. Palafin coming in at $1, Varoom coming in at $1, and really just a couple other ones that are only $2, like the Bellybolt, the Larvitar, and the Lechonk right there, all selling for only a couple dollars a piece. And because of that, your average value is only looking at about $4.58 per illustration rare for Obsidian Flames. Since you get 3 of them per booster box, you're looking at about an average value of $13.74 in your Obsidian Flames booster box. That's not going to bring down that average pack price too much, which is why Obsidian Flames ranks 6th out of the 7 main series sets for Scarlet and Violet. Next up, we have Paradox Rift. Paradox Rift, another set like PdeE Evolved that is loaded with just a lot of illustration rares. I don't know if there's something that correlates with the amount of illustration rares. You do have a really big hitter in this set. Obviously, the Groudon coming in there at $50. This is currently ranked 3rd out of all of the Scarlet and Violet sets when it comes to illustration rares. You've got an average value of about $7 per illustration rare, which brings you up to about $21 per booster box, which is what gives it 3rd. The Groudon sitting there at $50. You have the Steelix at $17. A few other ones that are in the low teens, like the Evital sitting there at $13. You've got the Morpeko at $10, the Minion and the Pulsei at $10 as well, and then a bunch of other ones which are at $6, $7, $8, somewhere around the midline right there. In total, the big thing is you don't really have anything that's sitting there at the $1 mark, which is really the bane of what Obsidian Flames is dealing with. You have a couple of them that are sitting at $1, which brings that average price point down quite a bit. But $7, not too bad. Average per box looking like $21 right there. So Paradox Rift good enough for 3rd right now. Next up, we have Temporal Forces. Temporal Forces currently coming in 5th. So the 3rd worst set for illustration rares out of the entirety of the Scarlet and Violet sets. Your biggest one is the Ghastly. That one's been up and down. It's caused a lot of chaos in the Pokemon card world. Ghastly currently sitting at about $21 right now. And then you have a couple other ones which aren't bad. So you've got the Metagross at $12. You've got $9 on the Sawsbuck. That Sawsbuck and Deerling are very cool, but relatively inexpensive still at $9 and $7. You don't have any of them that are sitting at $1, but you do have a few that are coming in at $2, like the Bronzor. You've got the Cutiefly at $2 right there. You've got the Meltan at $2. So a few of those bringing down that average price point quite a bit. In total, your average value per illustration rare looks to be about $5.41. Since you get 3 of them per booster box, you're looking at about $16.23 worth of value for that illustration rare category in your Temporal Forces booster box. That doesn't bring the average price per pack down too much. You're looking at about 40 cents or so, bringing it down a little bit. So that's why Temporal Forces is currently sitting in 5th. Twilight Masquerade sitting in 4th right now. So really midline, middle of the pack right now. You've got 3 in front of it and you've got 3 behind it. Twilight Masquerade obviously impacted by that Eevee, but that Eevee has come down a little bit. So it's currently sitting at $45. And then you've only got a couple other ones that are sitting in double digits. That Chansey has fallen a lot. It was a $20 card at one point. It's lost half of its value, so it's sitting at $10 right now. The Tatsugiri, the sushi card, beautiful looking artwork, sitting at $10. Again, you do have a couple $1 illustration rares, which is really bringing that average price point down. You've got $1 on the Cramorant, you've got $1 on the Probopass, and then a bunch of them currently sitting at $2. So Sunflora, Lyron, Timber, even that Timber, which is a really cool looking card, only sitting at about $2 right now. Enamorus, Chimecho, Wattrel, Heliolisk, Torkoal, Poltergeist, those are all $2 cards, which really brings that average value down. Your average value is about $5.57 per illustration rare. Since you get 3 of them per box, that's $16.71. That's why Twilight Masquerade currently ranks 4th. And then the last one that we're going to look at is Stellar Crown. Stellar Crown, the second best set to open right now when it comes to illustration rares. And really the main reason behind that is because it is very small and 2 of the cards are very expensive. So that Bulbasaur sitting at $33 right now, and the Squirtle sitting at $40. Those are your only cards that are worth more than $4 or worth more than $6 out of all the illustration rares. And then Zeraora at $6. Everything else is $4 or less. So you've got a bunch of them sitting there at $2, like the Laleep, the Turtonator. Obviously, this set just came out not too long ago. The Crabominable's at $2 already. You've got $2 on the Milcery, $2 on the Metatype, $2 on the Archaludon. So this this is very impacted by those two cards. But with a smaller pool to pull from, that really increases your chances of opening up a booster box and pulling either that Bulbasaur or that Squirtle, which is going to help out that average price point quite a bit. So in total, you're looking at about $8.08 for averages when it comes to your illustration rares from Stellar Crown. Since you get about 3 of them per booster box, you're looking at about an average value of $24.24. We'll see what happens with Surging Sparks when that comes out. Obviously, there's already a lot of interest in some of the SIRs and illustration rares that are coming out in Surging Sparks. Surging Sparks looks like it's going to be a really good set, and then forget about next year. I don't even want to begin to think about what's going to happen with Terrestrial Festival, the Trainer Pokemon set that comes out in March, the Rocket set that's going to come out in May. I think things are going to really start ramping up quite again for Pokemon, but I wanted to put this information out there so that way if you do decide you want to open up packs and you don't want to just buy singles, kind of gives you the most intelligent decision to make on what sets to open up when it comes to trying to fill out your master set. Obviously, some of these other sets you really want to focus on singles. Some of them are relatively inexpensive, but hopefully you have the data so that way you can make the best decision when it comes to spending your collection dollars. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, please hit that subscribe button down below, leave a like, leave a comment. It goes a really long way for the algorithm. Let me know what you think about CrowSealShop.com. You guys are awesome. I love you. I'll talk to you again on Sunday with another video. Until next time, peace.